4040 here with a ship's roster review for TowelieDurden. And this is actually the second time I'm recording this because my first recording bugged out. So Towelie, let's get to it. So the first thing I went and looked at and looking at is your capital ships. So you have the best capital ship in the game, Chimera, pretty well leveled up. What you want to keep in mind with capital ships, especially Chimera here, is that the unique or leadership ability, you may call it, as compared to other ships, as compared to leaders, is the most important. So this is Fierce Loyalty for Grand Admiral Thrawn here, which is the capital ship you're going to want to be using, is what you need to max out. So make sure you're working on Fierce Loyalty over these other abilities first, because that extra crit damage you get out of it is going to really help out your fleet and max out the damage you're able to do. On top of that, the next two important abilities are Art of War and Phylon Beam. Phylon Beam will help you deal a little bit of damage, AoE style, and Art of War will heal and give you some buffs and put debuffs on the other side. So those are both super important. Then Strategic Dominance. This is generally only used once a battle if you get to it. And it really is just going to add a little bit of AoE damage. So it's not the best, but it's better than the basic, which nowadays you should almost never be using the basic on a capital ship. So just keep that in mind. So Chimera is the ship you want to keep focused on. And I'll talk about your other capital ships later and what you should look at there. But now let's go to the three ships you should have as your starters under Grand Admiral Thrawn. The first one is going to be TIE Advanced. TIE Advanced is excellent starting out under Grand Admiral Thrawn. It gets the Empire bonuses with it, and overall, it's just a great ship. It's also a good reinforcement for later fleets after you use it as a non-starting ship, so keep that in mind. But for now, you want to use it as your starter. The next thing you want is a tank. You have two really good options here. I would suggest just playing around with what you find best. And it's also going to depend on which of the ships of my third option you take as your suggestion. So Houndstooth is an excellent ship. It's even better at 7-star, which is why I'm hesitating telling you to use it outright, because it's only 4-star, and at 4-star it's still rather weak because it has less health, which makes it easier to get through. But it is a great tank, so you may want to start out with Houndstooth. The other option here, which is classically used with TIE Advance, is Big Darklighter, and TIE Advance will help give Big Darklighter's X-Wing some more protection really easily. So either of those makes great options for your starting tank. The one you don't use, you probably want to use as a reinforcement, because it's really annoying to have a tank come out as a reinforcement. I believe you have the reinforcements on both these at about even, so whichever one you decide to go with, you'll want to max out all the way. Especially if you go with Biggs, because Biggs has a target lock that will allow him to taunt immediately upon coming out. So for your third option, you have two other great ships to go with. You have Ghost and Imperial TIE Fighter. If you go with Houndstooth, it's probably better to go with Imperial TIE Fighter, but you could still go with the Ghost. If you go with Biggs, you definitely want to go with the Ghost just because they have a little bit of Rebel synergy together. But you will want to gear up these Ghost characters a little bit more, especially Kanan here, who's lower, and at least get Hera and Zeb up to gear 11. That will really help you give some more speed and health to your ship, hopefully, and also more damage. All around, it just helps out the gear. Also, just note with mods here, make sure you have 5 level 15 mods on all the characters. It helps to boost their stats up a bit. They don't have to be great mods like this arrow you have here. Apart from it not being 5 it's not really a great mod. It doesn't have speed and whatnot on it, but you don't need to put arrows with speed on it. You just need to put arrows that are 5 level 15. Um, so keep that in mind when you're looking at these characters to help out your ships. Now the importance of doing Ghosts with Biggs is has an ability where you pick an ally to put under stealth, which you pick TIE Advance. Puts TIE Advance under stealth, calls it to assist, and also calls another rebel ally to assist, which will be Biggs, also putting a false taunt on Biggs, which will both be dealing out more damage and causing Biggs to taunt by calling in the TIE Advance, dealing a lot of damage with the TIE Advance. It's a decent lineup. I've had some people that have suggested it to do very well. Imperial TIE Fighter, you're just trying to give more turn meter to your capital ship. You do it special first to get foresight up, that sort of thing. Ghost does help solve the problem of TIE Advanced often being shot down quickly by the enemy team, however. So that is one thing to think about there. So do any combination of those you want. But just I would suggest TIE Advance being on the team no matter what, under Chimera. Um, then comes your 4 reinforcements. Your number 1 reinforcement I'm going to suggest is Phantom 2. However, you need to max out Covert Strike. This will be the first reinforcement ability you should max out. It's a very important one because of this reduced cooldown of call reinforcement on allied capital ship. That is very useful to have. On top of that, you want to gear up these characters so the ship gets more speed, more health, more damage, everything around, because if this ship is maxed out, this ability right here, Maximum Impact, can deal between 80 to 100,000 damage in ships, which is a lot. And there's very few ships capable of doing that much. TIE Advanced on its basic is one of the few. So you want to keep that in mind. And so Phantom is going to be your first reinforcement, or should be normally. Some other good reinforcements you have access to right now. TIE Reaper. What does TIE Reaper provide for you? Well, TIE Reaper is going to provide turn meter loss on the enemy. It's going to provide turn meter gain and loss to yourself from its reinforcement, as well as defense down on the enemy, and defense down really hurts in ships. It's also going to give you a dispel with heavy interference here, which is really nice. So those are all great things you get with TIE Reaper. It may not be as great of a ship as it used to be, but sure is still a great ship. Another ship to keep in mind is Slave 1. Slave 1 comes out taunt, critical damage avoidance, several other things if you have its all-out offensive maxed out. So it's just a really good ship to have overall as a reinforcement. For a 4th reinforcement, we mentioned having a tank, so either Houndstooth or Biggs Darklighter would be excellent choices. Some others just to throw in and see what helps you work is Scimitar is great, especially if you put Imperial TIE Fighter in your reinforcements, because it'll put a false taunt on Imperial TIE Fighter, hopefully causing it to dodge more. Cassian Jewing is a great reinforcement as well, so if you want to gear it up and level out its abilities, it will be great for plug and playing as a reinforcement where needed. You have Millennium Falcon pretty well maxed out here. However, Millennium Falcon really is not a meta ship, so I wouldn't look into forcing work on it. If you want to get it just so that you have it and can show it off, that works. Or if you find other places you can use it, I'm sure it's helpful in light side territory battles. It's a smuggler ship, that sort of thing. But overall, it's really not the best ship in the game. So for purposes of ship's arena, I really want to focus on that ship. Okay, so for your ship's arena team, currently, I am suggesting that you use Chimera with TIE Advanced and a starting tank of either Houndstooth or Biggs Darklighter, and then a 3rd starting ship of either Ghost or Imperial TIE Fighter. Ghost, especially if you use Biggs Darklighter, Imperial TIE Fighter works in either situation. Then for reinforcements, Phantom, especially once you max out Covert Strike, then you should have TIE Reaper, Slave 1, and your second tank. So either whichever one you don't use in your starter of Houndstooth or Biggs Darklighter should be your other tank. So that's what you should be using in Arena. Now let's look forward and see how maybe we can help you in the future. The first thing you should be doing, hopefully, is 7-starring Houndstooth. If you haven't already started, because a 7-star Houndstooth is going to be essential right now to the future meta of ships. Biggs used to be considered the most important taunting take in ships, but I'm going to say it is now Houndstooth. Fortunately, I don't have Houndstooth up that well. I do have a Gear 11 boss, but you have a Gear 12 7-star boss. I'm sure you're working on 7-starring the Houndstooth. So that will be really important for the future of ships. If you're going to get Houndstooth, though, you better be working on Xanadu Blood, which means you need to gear up Cad Bane and level 85 Xanadu Blood. I'm sure in a few weeks it'll be free to play. So I would start starring Xanadu Blood if you can. That's an excellent ship. And what you'll do is you'll use Xanadu Blood on a starting fleet under probably an Executrix with Houndstooth and Ghost. Or instead of Ghost, you could use Anakin's ETA. Those are very excellent ships. Some other ones just to kind of keep in mind for ships, Biston's U-Wing. Biston's U-Wing acts as a second version of the TIE Advance, basically, and in some cases is even considered better than the TIE Advance. So that's one to think about. Lando's Millennium Falcon can make a really good 4th reinforcement. Anakin's ETA is really good and can help make Mace Windu viable again, especially if they release more Republic ships in the future. And then you just might want to think about working on ships that help you 7-star Chimera here. So Home 1, if you need to put a little bit more work into it, and any of your Rebel ships. But I believe you have 5 Rebel ships. Yeah, you have 5 Rebel ships. You should be good enough to get it, but you could always put a little bit more work into it if you wanted to. Just to ensure you get 7-star Chimera next time it comes around. On top of that, in terms of capital ships, if you want to be worried about the future of the game, you want to get Executrix up. Executrix is, in some cases, considered the best capital ship in the game, or at least tied for it. You would want to max out Victory at all costs first. Again, this is basically the leadership for Executrix. Do work on Executrix after you finish working on Chimera, because you should not be disappointed. Endurance is a better ship now because of Anakin's ETA, but still is not that great of a ship, so I won't be too worried about it. Then Home 1 overall is a great attacking ship, has great Rebel synergy, so it can be used, and it's the only real viable capital ship right now in territory battles, and it has its uses in territorial wars. So it's worth putting a little bit of effort in Home 1 and getting it up slowly. But Chimera and Executrix should really be the two you're more focused on. There's also always a chance of Sith becoming meta if they add in a Sith capital ship and maybe a couple more Sith ships in the future. But these are just more things to be keeping in mind. Geonosians are still great and will be great in the game going into the future. But the most important Geonosian you get up is Sun Fac, because he's another tank. And in ships, there's very few taunting tanks. So it's just useful having access to Sun Fac to use as a tank. I'm really hoping this is helping Tally. Again, just as a review for what to do before I end this off. You want to 7-star your Chimera and level up its abilities as you can. Then you want to have a starting fleet of TIE Advance with either Houndstooth or Biggs as your starting tank, and then either Ghost or Imperial TIE Fighter as your 3rd starting ship. And then reinforcements of Phantom 2 once Covert Strike is maxed out. then a tank of either Houndstooth or Big Stark Lighter, Tie Reaper, and then Slave 1 probably. And then just for things keeping future for ideas for development, Geos, especially Sunfac, um, Biston's Ewing, Lando's Millennium Falcon, and especially Xanadu Blood if you're going to be working on Ghost and Houndstooth because they are an even more meta fleet right now. I hope that helps you out, Tally. If you have any questions, reach out to me. Let me know. I'd also love to hear about your success as you start improving in fleet. If you need me to do another one of these for you a few months in the future, just let me know. But talk to you later, Tally, and have a great day. Bye.